Hello, hello! Welcome to episode 3 of GuildGab. Episode 3.
Cheers,
Woohoo!
loves. How you all doing today?
I'm AuroraPeachy,
And I'm Archosaurus Rex with my tea. How you doing?
and a snazzy bow tie. How many bow ties do you have?
Three. This is my third one. Trying to rotate them, so. Yes. This is my kind of polka dot one, I guess. So trying to rotate my bow ties. You know, it's important. It's why people watch the show. No.
We always get a comment or two on it. Snazzy
Yeah.
dresser.
Well, like I said, this is my actual skin, so that's how I go to sleep and wake up and then to shower in it. Yeah.
Can't take it off.
Exactly. It's attached. Like Wooden Potatoes, who we all know wears a top hat and full tail suit. At least
All the time,
in my mind.
right?
Exactly. All the time.
100%
He's
of the
wearing a
time.
top hat suit with a little monocle and a cane. We all know he dresses like that with white gloves, too. We all know he's dressed like he's a really skinny, proper British little man with a top hat and
Oh, first time you
please
said
watch
that,
this Wooden
I
Potatoes.
died. First time you said that, I died. It was so funny.
It'd be
Okay, so,
news.
actual escape from Lion's Arch this time, not trailer.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
as soon as you log in, I believe it is if you are on a level 30 or above character. I didn't test that. As soon as you log in, no matter where you are in the world, I made this mistake. I was getting ready to record it, and I said, my main was stationed in Lion's Arch, so I said, well, she's definitely going to get the cinematic, so in order to set up and test and everything, I'm going to log in on, my character was in Queensdale. I log in, and I immediately get this cinematic, and I go, no, I push escape. I'm like, don't look at it yet, don't see it yet, don't see it yet. And then I had to figure out how to get it again, because that's the only time it automatically plays. You have to go to one of the leaders in one of the refugee camps in order to replay it, which is awesome that you can actually replay these cinematics. I've probably watched it 5 times. I had to go through and do that, and it was funny. So no matter where you are in the world, as soon as you log in, you get...
Go get it, baby. Yeah. Which is really awesome. Yeah, stuff like that is really... I really wish they did more of that. I know probably the cinematics maybe are content intensive or something, but I really wish that they could have wouldn't it be awesome if every patch they had a cinematic like that to open up?
Man.
As soon as
to
it
introduce
happens,
you to the changes.
boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like that needs to happen. That can be I personally don't mind the little mail things that we get. I find it exciting, but it's way more fun if you just as soon as you log in, you get this little cinematic. It doesn't have to be fully voice acted or anything like that, which this one really wasn't. So just something to just go whoosh, this is happening,
Yeah, you're right, because if you get just a mail and a wall of text, there's players who don't care, and they're just going to see a wall of text, not read it, and not pay attention to it. But if you have a cinematic that's in your face, now you could skip it if you wanted to, and that's fine. You got to be able to skip it, because some people truly don't care about that. They're doing PvP or world versus world, and that's all they care about, and that's fine. But for the people who do PvE, having that in your face, there is a change. I have a guild mate who doesn't go and read the forums. He doesn't, everything he knows is in game. So there could be a living story update, and he doesn't know, he doesn't know what's going on a lot of the time. He asks us, okay, so what's going on? Someone will say, oh, I'm doing, the tower in Kessex Hills, and he'll go, what? What tower? What are you talking about? Well, this time, he logged in, and he said, what the heck's going on in Lion's Arch? It was something is obviously going on. So, and it got him engaged in it, so it got him engaged right away and asking questions and going to find out what's going on. Whereas if it was just a wall of text, he might not have been it might not have been until he actually went to Lion's Arch and saw, holy crap, which is also awesome because on the entire map, like, you can zoom all the way out and it's just this big red mass in the middle of the map from the miasma, and oh, it's intense. I got chills playing it because I was just like seeing this just Lion's Arch, and it says under attack underneath it in parentheses after it. It's not just Lion's Arch, it's Lion's Arch under attack, and oh, all the feels. I was just like, oh my god, this is intense.
Yeah, I really like how from the outside in Gandaren Fields, when you go up to the gate, you can actually like see it on fire and all that stuff. Like just like from like that zone, just by looking at it, you can see like it's on crackling, and you can see the red haze lifting. And yeah, I mean, it's just really cool to hear that from that guildmate who is that kind of detached from following the game, you know, like folks like ourselves who like who love going to the website that does a great job of keeping you updated. But I mean, like for instance, like for Edge of the Mist, I mean, wouldn't it have been fantastic if as soon as you logged in, you got a little cutscene like that showing Maitrin escaping from her prison? Yeah. And then you had like Taimi and Brown following, like Taimi going, "Hey, you want to?"
We just heard they just said, like, "Oh, she escaped."
Yeah, and like the whole voice acting stuff, scene that you got with kind of, that's cool, but if they had just used, and again, they could have just used like in-game graphics for this little cutscene of Maitrin. Some Aether Blades come and blow up her cell. That they run to the portals, and then you see like Braum and Taimi going like, "Hey, wait!" and then and then at least you go, "Oh, this happens."
Right.
It makes you, "Oh, something happened," instead of getting a mail saying what, reading it. Oh, okay, then you go there. Oh, okay, because that can be, I mean, it's cool and fun, but yeah, I really wish that they don't see this as like, oh, this is just a special thing for this one thing. It's like, guys, do this for every pack. Have a little cutscene to make you go, oh, when you log in, because there's a lot of people that don't want to read walls. And it's fascinating too, because not to call them out again, but when Wooden Potatoes was talking about differences of Guild Wars 1 to 2, how he didn't like how Guild Wars 2 didn't have enough text in it. And he felt that the text quests in Guild Wars 1 and, say, World of Warcraft stuff that are so heavily text-based quests, you get this, wall of text, which I don't like reading. I've got visually impaired problems myself, personally, but other people, just you're saying, kind of see that and go, ugh, and click next. And they just don't get engaged by reading that, whereas some people can be engaged and go, oh, there's so much depth in the story, which I don't buy. Having a lot of voice acting means that there's not a lot of depth to it.
Oh no, absolutely not. But it can turn some players off. I'll admit, when I played Guild Wars 1, I didn't read those wall of texts. I would skim it. I would read the first couple sentences and then skim it, because some of them were quite long, and it was this tiny, teeny little text. And I didn't read it. I scrolled down to see what the quest reward was, and who you talk to next and who you go to, and sometimes I just wanted to play the game. I didn't want to read those text walls, and they've really done away with those, except for the mails you get, which is fine, because they're always there. You don't have to stand by an NPC and read everything, and as soon as you walk away, you can't read it again. So a mail with a lot of text is fine because you always have access to it. I gotta say, I like the style of Guild Wars 2 NPCs where they'll only give you a couple sentences at a time, and then then your character says something. You click the next arrow, and then they say a couple more sentences, and then you click the next arrow. And I like that because I actually do read, 90% of it. Probably. Yeah, me too. If I was to be honest, I probably read 90% of it. Whereas in Guild Wars 1. I still am not very good at the lore in Guild Wars 1 and the story. I want to play through it again and actually read all those texts, because I don't have a very good understanding of it, and that's why, because I didn't read a lot of those. And so bravo for doing better in Guild Wars 2, because I think it has a lot more people involved and a lot more people understanding what's going on. Yeah, I mean, I find that it just keeps the world alive in a way that a lot of games don't do. Still, for instance, that was the problem with WoW that it still has, because it's still working on that
10-year-old engine is that characters don't talk to each other, or if they do, it's purely just voice bubbles with no actual voice to it. So all you're hearing is just the music and some sound effects. You don't get this idea of people having conversations with each other, and it doesn't feel alive. That's why going to cities in Guild Wars 2, yeah, you may have heard that dialogue ages and ages again, but it is rotating, and it makes you feel alive when like you just hear like some little kids like, again, like I mostly only know the Black Citadel, as we were talking about before. Like, my experience is like very char biased and focused. I know almost nothing about most of the starting area zones and stories of any other race, so I don't know about milking cows and all that boring stuff. Apparently, I've been killing Flame Legion and having a ton of time every time because I'm obsessed with char. And when I'm in the Black Citadel, there's some really cute conversations where like a little cub was like saying, "Ah, mommy, those soldiers are scary." She's like, "Don't worry, son. Soon you'll be just as scary looking as them." Like,
see, that's the cool thing
I
about
love
hanging
that.
out in one city is because all of the conversations right from the very beginning of the game, because those conversations haven't changed, but you can still walk
Yeah.
around areas and hear conversations that you've never heard before because they rotate and they're
Yeah.
on, they're on timers, so you're never, unless you stand there for, a length of time, and you're not going to hear them. All of them, and there's NPCs are walking around, and when they get to a certain point, then they have a conversation. When they get to another point, they have another conversation, and it's so alive. When I very first started the game, one of my favorite, when you were saying about the NPC conversations in Divinity's Reach, when I first started the game, one of my favorites was one of the you hear a girl saying. They're talking about how cute Logan is. They're talking about, oh, have you
Nice.
seen Logan Thackeray? Oh, he's so dreamy or so cute or whatever. And I thought that was just so funny. The little flavor texts that don't mean anything in the big scheme of
I
things.
love the way
But
he runs away.
I want to run away with him.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
I saw someone made ArenaNet put out those Valentine's cards that were just so
away with
funny. And I don't know what Logan said, but before that I had seen someone made a Logan one and it said, "Let's run away together." And I said, that is so perfect. The Frostbite one was
God.
my favorite, by the way. It just
Yeah,
had Frostbite and some hearts. It was cute.
Yeah, like yeah, I mean, yeah, like it's something that feels a very Guild Wars 2 thing. That's why even with all these new MMOs, people keep talking about, oh, the new big MMOs are coming out. And just if I can have a minute or two, like on this thing is just like, I mean, we've discussed before like our opinions on, like ESO, like Elder Scrolls Online seems blah to me personally. I think you kind
I
of feel
haven't played it, but I've seen gameplay of it, and it didn't look visually spectacular to me. Let's put it that way.
yeah. And then like the other ones, like there's WildStar, for instance, and there's also Final Fantasy's out now, which Final Fantasy looks utter boring to me. And I could get on a rant that I'm not going on right now about how bad their cat people look, but the WildStar thing that they do in WildStar, just for very quickly here, I'm just going to say is just, I don't think they have the same thing that happens in Guild Wars 2 that we're talking about, with characters having these wonderful conversations just spontaneously in the cities and are around you. Whereas there, when you go up to your quest givers, because it's still like everybody has a little like thing over top of their head that you gotta go to. When you click on them, the only speech you hear is like this kind of like same thing they always say. It's like this like sentence they always say. They're not actually talking to you, or it's like we live for the blood god or something like that. But like that's not actually what the NPC is talking to you about. So it's just these like personality traits, which personally I find very distracting, and a bit of a letdown. It's definitely not the same thing that's happening in Guild Wars 2 with these wonderful
We've
conversations.
been very spoiled.
Yes,
We're very spoiled.
because when you go back to these other ones, I'm thinking, like, why aren't they having this?
Right,
like
right. Hasn't
'cause,
this been? Isn't Guild Wars 2 now? At least certain aspects of it, the new standard.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like that's something that, well, Matt, just referencing more people from Matt Visual, was saying that, if an MMO doesn't have all the things that Guild Wars 2 has, it's really kind of a bit of a detractor. You're kind of like,
You're
really?
kind of going
You like,
backwards because they've
yeah.
revolutionized so many different things. Not having to go to, talk to an NPC, go kill 10 rats, and then go back and talk to them again to get your quest done, among dozens of other things that have just been revolutionary. Yeah, and I think it should be the standard for a lot of things. So when newer games don't take some of those things into implementation, if they kind of go backwards, it's a letdown. If you've
Yeah,
played
like
Guild Wars 2.
yeah, that's why I have troubles. Like, I do still love WoW, but I keep on getting more and more on the fence if I actually will go with the expansion when it does come out. I probably will, but I mean, like my sub's dead right now because there's no point. But yeah, I mean, like the improvements they're adding are cool and great, but they still don't feel like they're going far enough, or they're not, for instance, implementing all the great things that Guild Wars 2 has. They're kind of doing it in a softcore way and in a kind of WoW way, I guess, but still, like they're I seriously doubt they're going to have these kinds of fun conversations that we're used to, and amongst of other things. So, yeah, it really makes me think more, like as I play it more and more, and as we get these much higher quality patches
Oh, and they
coming
have
out.
been getting better. They've been
Yeah,
more refined.
oh yeah, and they're only going to get better, and it really makes me MMOs going kind of like, yeah, I'm not, I I really don't know if I really really need to go into that one, even though it can look attractive. Maybe I prefer the graphic style better or something like that, but it still doesn't have all these things in it, and it's kind of like, it is this kind of letdown, or kind of like you feel like you're kind of going backwards, as you said, and it's
Yeah. Well, let
that's
us
my
not.
rant on that stuff.
I was gonna say, let
That's
us.
my rant on that stuff. So thanks. Yeah.
So, two more happy things. The destruction of Lion's Arch. What was your opinion, when you very first went into Lion's Arch and saw how it had truly changed? Because we got a small preview in the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we obviously did not see the extent of the devastation so what was your opinion when you very first saw Lion's Arch in its current state?
I was impressed.
Same.
And I love how, like, your like segue to was like, on more positive things, destruction of Lion's Arch. Video games are really messed up, aren't they? We are messed up people. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, yeah, it was really amazing. I'm hoping and praying that they do, like, leave Lion's Arch in this kind of state.
I think they will.
Especially because so much stuff was obliterated. Like, that trailer, that was pretty epic. Seeing, like, the Armada just blow the crap out of so many buildings and things, and just blowing up, all these buildings, like, it's like, yes. And then of course we got to see that, like, mother of all drills come down.
Yes, I was so happy.
Holy crap.
I was so happy.
Like,
I called it. I was like, oh, I called it. The drill. It's going right down. It's drilling into Lion's Arch, right where that probe was. I was like, oh, I called it. I was so happy. For some reason, I'm really obsessed with that drill.
Well, it's just gonna hopefully reveal a lot of cool stuff. Yeah. Like, and it was just so epic and awesome.
It was.
That's the kind of thing I think everyone else wants to see more and more of, is stuff like this. It was like, holy crap! And like the great thing I liked too was that we did see Scarlet.
I was not expecting that. I was like, I went, oh, there she is. I was not expecting to see her. She's right there. She's on the drill.
Yes. So, like, she's like not coordinating from her secret lair or any crap like that. It's like, like she didn't say anything, but we do know she's there.
She had this smirk on her face that was just like, yeah, that's right, all of you burn.
Yeah. Like, I'm kind of hoping that maybe as like the week and a half or so goes by, that maybe like a little bit more on the story side will kind of fruition. I'm thinking Arena's thinking that maybe this patch, because it's pure just kind of grinding, going in there in the playground of Lion's Arch being attacked is that this is kind of like the opening of the war, as it were. So
Mm-hmm.
I think
That could
I
be.
think I think from their perspective, they see it fine to not have any major story progression from this point on until the final one, because Scarlet's basically up there with her armada. She's perfectly safe up there because no race has an armada that can go up there to actually take her out. And certainly can't mobilize it fast enough. And this is kind of like a blitzkrieg attack. It's kind of come out of nowhere for most people. And so she's basically just letting her troops go in there and fight it off, and then all of us heroes are coming to just get as many people as we can out of there. And then I guess the final patch. I can't wait for the final patch to come now. Will come in and yeah, I mean, as for my thoughts on it, yeah, it was. I liked the feel of it. I liked the look. It was still kind of hard to see, but not too bad. I wish there was a little bit more direction on what exactly we were supposed to be doing. But
I'll admit I
uh,
was also a little confused the first time I was in there because there was a lot of events all over the place, and I was like, well, which one do I do? What is there some kind of is there like a way that we should be doing this, or do I just go and help people, or what am I doing? Like,
yeah,
but that
which
was
you know,
good. That added to the confusion
yeah,
because it was this sudden attack, and people are going, "Oh my gosh, what do we do?" So that was
we
very,
took,
it was an appropriate reaction. It's like,
yeah, like
what do I
yeah,
do?
I mean,
Where do I go?
because like when we're just talking, or when I was ranting about like the features of Guild Wars 2, is one of the fun things about this thing we've got now is that you don't have to be in a guild and you don't have to be in a raid group, as it were. Even though this is almost kind of like Guild Wars 2 equivalents of raids, because there's so many people that can get together to do this stuff. Is that if you want, you can follow these commanders and do an actual organized runabout. But if you happen to not just through life and whatnot, not have tons of friends there saying, "Hey, we love you. Let's go party and stuff, and let's do this and stuff." If you're just kind of the evil casual who wants to go in there and just experience it a bit, get slowly accumulate your rewards, and just do your own thing. If you want, like the thing that I didn't really know what to do, but a lot of other players did, so I just kind of followed the Zerg swarm, and by doing that, I got a whole bunch of the achievements done and a lot of the things done. I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to be doing. I knew we were supposed to be killing, Scarlet's minions and helping out a bit.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I just kind of followed the group. And because of the system Guild Wars 2 has, that you don't that things get shared that way.
Yes.
That all you have to do is just follow the group, or if the group comes to you, you all benefit from that. And that is a really great thing about this game, is that you can just kind of go in there. It's not like a typical raid, and it's not the exact same thing like mob boss, mob boss. Here we have this story thing. Scarlet has attacked, and you're not attacking a big boss. There's just lots of her. It's just her army is there, and you just got to help the people. That's the main point. And it's called Escape from Lion's Arch, is that you're not actually doing the onslaught on her. You're just trying to save everyone that you can, because everything's going to beep, and like everything's wrong. So you're just going in there going, whoa, crazy. And, just as you're saying, like, it's confusion and stuff. And so, yeah, there was a great sense of, and it was really great just having seen, Lion's Arch before, and now seeing it in what it looks like in this raised setting is really cool. Yeah, it's like, I was like, whoa, this looks so different, yet it also looks familiar enough. And it's like, wow, this is what, the living story thing can do. Let's do more of this, man. This is
Yeah.
sweet.
I was not expecting that level of destruction. I was expecting, a couple buildings on fire, maybe a couple of the boat buildings toppled over, and some fires here and there. I was not expecting full destruction and fire and just destruction everywhere. Was not expecting that. Was very pleasantly surprised. When you were doing following the Zergs and stuff in Lion's Arch, did you experience a lot of lag?
Not really, no.
I didn't either.
My PC isn't that bad, but it's not that huge. I don't run like the fastest internet connection, and
Same. And I barely had any lag. There was literally hundreds of people around me, and that was just around me, that was, and the event I was doing, that doesn't include the other, there was probably hundreds of people at each of the other events
Yeah.
within the same Lion's Arch instance. And I maybe twice, had a couple seconds of skill lag. That was it. And my frame rate was still good. Despite everything going on, I don't know, what they've done on the back end to improve that, but wow, did they do a good job. And I didn't hear of anybody complaining of skill lag or, even getting disconnected because of so many people. It was just like, it wasn't a problem, and that was very impressive with that many people.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point on that technical level. The fact that they're obviously getting better at this, which is a great thing because these are the kinds of, when it comes to big, epic group content, the quote-unquote Zergfest thing, that is what Guild Wars 2 does. They've decided on that. I'm kind of fine on it because I like that they're doing it. I don't mind the Zerging thing so much as there's sort of like a reason and story behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though the gameplay is this kind of Zerging thing or whatever, it's not the exact same thing. Like the Zerg that you do in a typical PvP match isn't the same thing as what you're doing technically here in Lion's Arch, because you're here to save people and to kill the Aether Blades, so you're not technically doing what you would technically exactly do in the PvP stuff, or in other, or like when we were sieging the Tower of Nightmare, it still feels different, between the two. Like, yeah, you're kind of Zerging, but you're doing different things, and you have to watch out for different things. So I kind of like that, and the fact that Arena has obviously done something, just as you're saying, like on the probably technical side to improve it, that's pretty impressive and pretty cool that they're doing that, because they've obviously recognized that they need to make that experience as fun and interesting as possible. And I play on a high population server, and there was a lot of people last night that were running through it, and there wasn't very much lag at all. I was moving with this freaking herd, pretty smoothly. Pretty smoothly. Like I could see all my attacks for the most part, and just everybody else was moving pretty good. Yeah, it was.
You could see your attacks in that chaos? Oh my gosh. I look at my skill bar and I'm like, okay, I gotta cast that and that and that, and there's some red guys over there. It's like, there's so much going on. But despite all that going on, it was pretty smooth. And wow, impressive. I just wanted to say one quick thing on the music I didn't hear anything new, which is fine. I kind of would have liked to hear the background music to the marionette, because that's one of my favorite, like, intense music that gets me pumped up. That music really got me pumped up. That was one of the big reasons that I played the marionette as much as I did, was that I loved that background music track to that. So maybe that is in the rotation and I just haven't heard it yet. I don't know. But the thing that got me the most, like, worked up about the sounds, effects, and everything is the screaming. Did you hear the screaming people in the background?
Yeah.
That, like, freaked me out. Like, you hear, there's men, women, children, like, every so often you would hear a scream, and it sounds like it's in the distance.
Yeah.
Whoa, every time I heard the scream, like, first time in there, I was like, where are they? Can I save them? Like, it was intense, and it gives you that sense of there's people all around, and these people are need rescuing, and it gives you that sense of urgency and that sense of the living story. Like, I need to save these people. It was scary.
My favorite part, I think, of it was when I first logged into Gandaren Fields or teleported there, was right in the middle of the where you have to fight off the Aether Blades, then you can charge in with like the Lion's Guard. So I wasn't too sure what was going on at first. So like when I first go in there, it's like there's like these like lasers blasting from the sky, and there's like these I love the sound effects for the lasers in this game because it sounds like freaking Star Wars or something better. I'm like, what the hell? It's like, I'm like, holy shit, cool, wow, what the hell's happening? Yeah, like the sound effects for the lasers and the Aether Blade stuff is so cool, and like when you actually go into Lion's Art, just like from like out of nowhere, you'll just see this massive like laser line like blasting down, and maybe it'll be on you or something. You'll be like,
Yeah.
holy Jesus. Which, by the way, I badly want the legendary rifle, the Predator thing. I actually got to see the animations of that baby. Oh, my char is drooling for that. But yeah, it's
I don't know
that
if I've
thing's
ever
pretty
seen the
wicked.
animations on that. I'm still
It like
trying to get my sunrise
it like
someday.
shoots out these like kind of like laser sound effects, like what you hear
Oh.
from the Aether Blade. So your bullets are actually little kind of like fire blasts, and you get like some fire going up your arm or something, arms, and you're actually it actually sounds like a kind of like sci-fi, like when you're like shooting it, and it's just yeah, and this is stuff that was going on with the Aether Blades and Lion's Arch, that stuff, just with like knowing that there's this armada floating up there and Scarlet's up there, like just saying like blow the crap out of everyone. There's just
Yeah.
lasers are blasting out, it's like wow. Yeah, it was pretty
Speaking
awesome.
speaking of skins, excuse me. What do you think of the new Zodiac armor in the gem store?
Right. Um, I like the idea of them. Um, I think they're a kind of cool idea. They've got this interesting glow effect, and
They've
it's
got a
kind of
lot of
neat.
cool effects on them.
Yeah, like how like your face becomes like a part of the kind of look of it. Like
Yeah,
you
your
kind of like lose your.
basically any exposed skin, including your face, turns this blue. It turns a smooth blue, but the within that blueness is like a starry sky, almost like
Yeah.
there's like a galaxy swirling inside your skin. Like it's a really
Oh, okay.
cool effect. Whereas think of like the legendary great swords, where you could be standing still, and as you move the camera,
Right, with like
inside of it
sunlight.
kind of like moves around. It's like that, where you move,
Yeah.
you move the camera around and you can see this starry sky like swirling around. It's a very cool effect. Um, I like them. I was not crazy. I'm not crazy. I don't think I would ever use the face. Maybe sometimes, maybe I would toggle it on and off, because it takes away the uniqueness of your character. It takes away the individuality, I feel. Um,
Yeah, and I would argue too that I'm annoyed. Well, because I'm char obsessed. It doesn't look that good on the char.
I will say there is one picture I saw, actually in the comments on Dolphy, um, of a char wearing the heavy armor with like the big blade on the top and the big blades on the shoulder, and it
Yeah.
was full. It was, the full with the face covered and everything, and then they had dyed all the armor like some kind of metallic metal
Hmm?
color, and it looked really cool. I think
Oh,
it's cool
okay.
that their tails turn blue too. It looked
Yeah,
really cool.
I guess.
I've found
Yeah, I
that if you
like
dye the armor parts a certain color,
different color.
if you get the color right, they can look very cool. I've seen people dye them.
Hmm.
I've seen people dye them like white, blue, and gold, like an almost like an avatar of Dwayna, and it looks really
Right.
cool like that. People said pair them with the blue dragon wing back pieces,
That
or
would
the
be pretty
wings of
cool. Yeah.
Dwayna. If you pair them with the right thing and color them the right way, they can look really badass.
Yeah, it's true. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, I, I'd probably have to see them more up close, but
Hmm.
uh, I'd probably get the gems to buy them. Honestly, probably. I don't
I
know.
can't I can't think of a character that I would want to put it on. That's the thing. Like I
That's
can't think
true
of a
too.
character
Yeah.
that would embody something like that. I read something interesting this morning. Someone was asking everyone's opinions on the Zodiac armor, and they said, uh, in maybe not so harsh words, could it be lore breaking? They said, where have we ever seen this before in the game? Where have we ever seen these kind? It almost looks like a new race. It almost makes you look like some kind of celestial race. And the closest thing we have is kind of like one of the avatars of the gods, which we don't really see in this game. We saw them in the first game, where we had an avatar of Dwayna, which was, her skin was completely blue. And that's kind of the closest thing we have to compare it to. So there's kind of like a discussion on, do you think that, you know, that they should go the creative route with this, like just something totally out of the box, totally not related to anything, but it looks really cool? Or should they stick to, you know, make it fit in with what's already in the game? Personally, I love that they're going out of the box and giving us new stuff. I mean, heart weapons that have glowing hearts don't really have anything to do with anything, but they're damn cool, and I love my hammer.
Yeah, me too.
So I love them going out of the box and giving us crazy stuff.
Me too. Yeah, because like the Love Struck stuff is like straight from She-Ra, so I'm totally cool with that.
And you don't have to buy it. What?
No.
There's no stat increase. There's no nothing. You don't have to buy it if you don't like it. So there's really no argument there as far as they should do this or they shouldn't do that. You don't gotta buy it if you don't like it.
I've like always seen like these kind of gem store items purely just for the fun of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Whereas like if you want gear to look like it's part of the lore, well, they have those fantastic cultural sets. Which
exactly
is
Good
which
call.
is the main reason why. One main reason why I love my Char is that he's a warrior, and I'm totally going to level him all the way up. It's because Char Tier 3 looks freaking amazing, especially the head. So I seriously doubt, unless they bring out something really awesome on the Gem Store skin, I'll ever change that set when I eventually can get it, because I just love the way that looks. It's perfect. It looks so Char.
But you have like 5 Chars, so you can just dress them up in different. You could just do all the outfits.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Whereas like the Char cultural tier, like for like medium and clothies, for instance, it's kind of like blah. Like I would probably just get those sets just for the stats, and then I would change them to something else. Like the Flame Kissed, for instance, is pretty cool, and
Which is
that
a nice
actually
thing
does
about transmutation stones. And
exactly
the stuff in the
yeah,
gems.
yeah. It's pretty awesome. And the other thing was the blades, the back piece, is that you can get this crazy
Oh yes,
ass
the new back piece.
thing.
It looks
which you
very
can,
cool.
Forge. Yeah, which you can forge apparently. So
Yeah, there's apparently different levels to it and different steps to it. I don't know if you can have you level it up or put more stuff into it and you get more blades or something. I haven't looked into all the details, but I know that there's an ascended version. So this is the first ascended back piece that you can get. I heard there's a lot of materials that go into it, and there's different color glows on them depending on the different stats, kind of like ascended weapons. So there's a lot that goes into it. Hopefully, it's not too terribly hard just to get the basic one. If you just want the look and you don't care about the super duper stats, you know, you don't want to go for an ascended item, which can be very expensive. I think there is. Go ahead.
Like I was gonna say that those back pieces, especially with tier 3 heavy for Char, oh God, that would look so good. That would look. I'd be like in heaven.
You've got your look completely planned out. Start farming.
From there, all it would need is the
Very
ability
expensive.
to fly. It's just like let my Char fly with those things. Super Char, he's gonna scare the crap out of you. Whee! Yeah, so I would love. Yeah.
Speaking of, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Did you want to say what you wanted to, or I was gonna?
I was doing.
Segue.
Oh, I was doing a segue. It had to do with Guild Wars 2.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
I got an everlasting pink Quaggan tonic last night.
Oh right, the Quaggan tonics.
I can forever turn into a pink Quaggan. I'm so happy.
So it's like you can like do it like over and over again.
Yes, I actually got from one of the bags that I opened because in Lion's Arch, they're I love this that the enemies drop the bags of alliance supplies. And very often you
Yeah.
get a ton of these things from doing the
Yeah.
event, and then when it's over, you get more. I think there's another item that gives you the same kind of drops, but it just gives you more. It's kind of like a champion bag for this event. But yeah, people are getting Quaggan tonics out of these things like hotcakes, and one of the things you can get is everlasting tonics, which
I want
like you
those.
like you said, yeah, you can use it forever. It never expires.
Oh,
You can
wicked.
so I can forever turn into a pink Quaggan. The picture
I want one.
the where let's see. The picture on our Guildcast right now, right there, is actually me as my pink Quaggan, looking very evil. And as we know, the Quaggans are behind Lion's Arch's destruction. So
Of course.
that proves it right there.
The Quaggan are behind the Elder Dragons themselves. Jeez.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
They're elder
the ones
dragon
that-
eggs.
Yes.
Larva. Quaggans
they
are elder dragon larva.
No, the Quaggan are the gods of the Elder Dragons.
Oh.
They are the gods in their Quaggan mortal form. Yeah, so it's the only one that I got so far was the killer whale temporary Quaggan one.
Mm-hmm.
It turns you into a little killer whale version of a Quaggan, and
Those are so cute.
and I just decided I was like, So I was like, I didn't want to do any major farming stuff because I was just kind of tired. So I was like, I just decided to go to the Grove and turn into a little killer whale Quaggan, and I just like ran around the place. I was a little killer whale Quaggan. I was like, just like running around and doing again like listening to the random conversations around the place, which are really fun. Like,
Yeah.
there's like one Sylvari saying, "Have you ever stared at trees?" And she's like, "No, it seems kind of boring." It's like, "Oh, it's wonderful, all this kind of bark." She's like, "Yeah, I'm bored."
And see, I've been to the Grove tons of times, and I don't think I've ever heard that one.
Yeah, it's like
Very
over like in like the top corner. He just starts talking about saying like, "Oh yes, you can find love and adventure and everything if you're just standing still." And I'm like, well, okay. It's just like, yeah, it's just fascinating looking at bark.
I gotta
All
say
right
that
there, buds.
I love that when you transform into something, you can still use stuff like balloons and kites, because a little Quaggan running around with a little balloon
The
or a little
kite.
kite is about the cutest thing ever.
Wow.
So I'm a little pink Quaggan with a little purple kite, and it's the best thing ever. I'm so happy.
That's awesome. I want an everlasting pink Quaggan too. That'd be perfect.
And I got that on the first night, and I probably did 2 or 3 events. So, and I've heard a lot of people are getting, a lot of drops. What I like is that obviously everything's random number generation, what you get out of these bags, but you get so many bags that you have a lot of chances to get them.
Which
It's
is
not
great, yeah.
It's great. It's not like, you have to defeat the Quaddle in order to get one bag that has a 0.000% chance of dropping, the Quaddle mini or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like you have, many, many, many chances to get these items, and it's really cool because I got some other Quaggan tonics too, and just the one-use ones, and and that's
Yeah.
fun. It just makes things fun. I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to like a Quaggan party somewhere. But where's it gonna
Yeah.
be now that there's no Lion's Arch?
Well, you could do
Where
it
are
over
my
in Keswick
Quaggans?
Hills. You could do it
Yeah.
like in Keswick Hills or
Everything's gonna
someplace.
have to be at Vigil Keep.
I'd love to have a Quaggan party. That'd be great. Everybody just turns into Quaggans and starts dancing around.
Yeah.
That would be. It's like, this is why we play Guild Wars 2. They turn into these things. It's like,
Yep.
okay.
I saw some
Um,
pictures of some Quaggan parties before Lion's Arch was destroyed. Like the day before, people were going around Lion's Arch as a herd of Quaggans. It was great.
Nice.
It was great.
Fucker. Yeah, I was gonna say, would you like to talk about the Taimi live stream?
Yes, you had a lot of comments on the on Taimi.
Yes.
She's
I
your
love that
girl.
little thing. She's my girlfriend. Well, she's technically 13, so I hope not. But the devs did a recent live stream. For anyone who hasn't seen it, it's very informative. It's about half an hour or more. They go into it in depth, just about Taimi, pretty much. and I'm hoping and praying we get more of these things. Because it's basically just lore, pretty sure, of the three devs. It's really great to hear from them, hear their perspectives. It makes me really happy and confident where the story is going in Guild Wars 2, because of how interested they are in this. They've been mentioning that Taimi is supposed to be sort of like the monkey wrench that they throw in to the group. I find that really fun because it really is. It's like just before Taimi comes into the party, we really do get the sense that the group of the main characters in the living story, they do seem to be getting more cohesive as a group, getting to know each other better and coming together. And then like there was a slight tension in that Rox and Bram might be splitting because Rox wants to go with Ritlock and be a part of his warband. And then suddenly Taimi comes out of nowhere, and they said that that's been on purpose. She's going to be the monkey wrench. It's not so much that she's a villain, thankfully. It's just that she's... yeah, I saw that. She's not evil. She will not be evil. No, make Casimir or Marjorie or some... Or what... Or the guy who keeps running away. Like, make him evil, not Taimi. But she's so adorable. They talked about like the voice actor and how she nailed it and everything. They talked about that even though Taimi likes to dress and look, and probably likes the look of looking really cute and adorable with the giant pink bow tie and stuff, her personality is kind of the complete opposite. Is that she is very sharp and she'll cut your legs off before you know it, as they said. But she does have a soft side, and I love the fact they're going to be pushing the Bram and Taimi story, which for any sick-minded people, it's not a love story. It's just they're just coming together, and it was really kind of cute because they're saying how they're actually closest in age, those two, which I found interesting.
Yeah, that's not something that I thought of either, or realized, because you don't look at a Norn and an Asura and think, oh, they're about the same age, they're peers. You don't see that. No. So when they said that, I thought that too. That was interesting. They're kind of like the kids of the group. Yeah,
which is really kind of cool. I really like that because, no matter how much, like, for instance, Bram and Rox are these buddies, and they totally look like, big, rough Norn, big, rough Char. But, Rox definitely sounds a lot older. As she said, she had a lover in her previous warband. This is a kitty who's been through stuff, and she doesn't, even though she gets along with, Bram and stuff, she definitely, that's something I kind of loved about when Marjorie, Casimir, and just Rox were together, was that those three do feel more closer in age and experience.
Yeah,
So, like, those are kind of like the women talking, whereas this is kind of like the kids.
You guys gonna sit at the kid table?
Pretty much, yeah. And, I really like that because I think this is part of the beautiful thing about the story is that you can look into this as being kind of mature and well done story because Rox has these mature, adult things she wants to do. Join the warband with Ritlock, like that. His stone warband and him himself. These are top Char, and just how much the importance that a warband has to the Char is so incredibly paramount to them, to their identity. That's something that she, as an adult, knows that she needs and she wants, and she's already lost one already, and she's already had a life. And
I hope
whereas,
she gets in all the feels.
Me too. Whereas like Braum is much more of this, again, he's kind of like a teenager, and we actually hear some fun. We actually hear some fun dialogue between Rox and Braum, and Rox kind of teases Braum about being rejected by his lover. Because like Braum's like, I don't want to think about it. She's like, yeah, it sucks to be rejected, kid? Like that kind of thing. She's kind of teasing them on that. Because they're totally friends, but you do feel a sense that Rox is on a different maturity level. It's like she loves their friendship and stuff, but like this warband thing is really important.
She can go her own way, no problem. All the characters are very independent.
Yeah, but it there is a beautiful synchronicity between Braum and Taimi that you totally wouldn't suspect right away. It's that thing that you clicked on right away with Wreck-It Ralph, which I don't think the devs are conscious of, but there's totally that thing going on there between the two characters with this like massive beef guy who's like really, really sensitive, but he's also got the total like wall up, and then this like cute
Yeah.
little spunky girl. Um, and
He kind of automatically almost takes over as and feels like he's got to be a guardian to
yeah,
her.
and I love the fact that they also mentioned that Taimi is going to be a big part of everyone's story, and that she's going to be interacting with
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. That was
And
exciting to hear.
so I can't wait for that. I can't wait for Taimi and Rox to have conversations and get together because that'll be so adorable. Heads will explode or hearts will crack. Mine will probably. Because that's just
Either
going to be so.
either way, there's going to be a lot of teasing of Bram, and it's going to be hilarious.
Yes. Yes, because the devs actually mentioned that, saying like, "Oh, what if Taimi and Rox team up
Gang
against
up
Bram?"
against Bram.
And then I also when I was talking to you before the podcast about how it's like, Brahm's the only guy in this group of characters, and it's a beautiful thing that it's never really been raised, and you never really think about it that much. That Brahm really is the only male out of this core group that's going on forward, which is very rare for video games to focus most of their characters on female characters, fully
Right.
developed individual female characters that aren't just stereotypes
Right.
or
I think because
cliche.
they're different races, so they can be that much more dynamic. So like if you were looking at 5 humans and there was 4 girls and a guy, there would be stereotyping, there would be all kinds of, of that kind of thing that you can put on them, but because they're so radically different and the different races adds to their differences and their dynamicness with each other, I think that helps you not even realize I am looking at a female dominated group.
Yeah.
And and no one questions it. That's okay.
Yeah.
People love it.
Yeah.
People love Marjorie and Casimir. And
yeah, and everyone else, and Taimi.
oh yeah, everyone.
And
Yeah.
which is part of and I'll eventually be doing a big panel on this, why My Little Pony is so popular. The new series of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Yes, I'm kind of a bit of a brony. I'm not ashamed. But when that's why I love fantasy so much as the genre, because just as you're saying, if it was just humans and people saying, "Oh, well, then that's a real story," it's not much for the imagination to work on. You have to pump the fleshy thing inside your skull to actually, really give life to an Asura and a Char, as well as these humans, to really flesh them out. And it's fantastic because, again, all the stuff I was saying with Rox is that if she was a human, all that stuff wouldn't be nearly as powerful. Whereas
Yeah.
her being a Char, this big anthropomorphic cat-like race that isn't a human, she may be able to kind of think like them and be friends with them, but at the end of the day, Char are not humans. They're born with huge teeth and claws. There's going to be, at a very basic instinctual level, they're going to have things in their minds that just operate differently than us. And
You would
by
understand
making
it's a
her-
Char thing.
Exactly. As opposed to just humans saying, "You understand it's a girl thing, it's a guy thing." It's like we're the same.
Oh.
Whereas having these
I
different
thought we
species makes it
disconnected.
more. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, just having the different species makes it more fun, and just the live stream with that time, it was really fun. They just
It was very good. I would love to hear that kind of insight and how they developed the character with the other characters. I would love to hear how they came up with Marjorie, how they came up with Bram, how they came up with Rox. Yeah.
yeah,
I
that'd be
liked
fantastic.
it a lot.
I'm just pouring more tea, by the way, when I go off camera. Yeah.
One
Yeah.
thing, getting back to gameplay, because I don't want this to be all about lore. The other new item in the gem store was the Captain's Airship Pass. Personally, this is just like I think it was the Queen's Terrace Pass, where you buy a pass and you get to go to this very convenient area with all your crafting and all your vendors and bank and everything all in one very tight, small area, and it's a purely convenience item. But do you think that's something that you would ever purchase, especially for 1,000 gems? For a lifetime pass? No.
Me, no. I'm totally uninterested in that. It's not something I'm really terribly interested in.
I had a thought, because it's not as it is. It's not something that I would ever buy. Because I used to just go to Lion's Arch, but now I'm going to have to go elsewhere. But no, it's not a big deal to just waypoint somewhere, do your banking and your crafting and stuff, and then waypoint back to wherever you were. Costs a couple silver, but depending on your level, but it could get a little tiny bit expensive if you consider, maybe if you're going from, the Vigil Keep now to ore or something, you might pay 7 or 8 silver round trip, to sell your stuff, or if you want to do, access your bank. Well, with this item, you simply have to double-click the item in your inventory. You're automatically to a very confined space that you can very conveniently, do all your stuff that you want to do, and then you waypoint back. My thought on this, because I would never buy an item like this either. It's purely for convenience, which is great. But the thought that I had, what if you could click that item, go directly there, if you could double click it again and go back exactly where you were, now that's interesting. Especially because this one's an airship. The other one was this place, this little garden in Divinity's Reach. This one's an airship. So it's completely plausible to say that Captain Magnus, or not Magnus, whoever's piloting the airship, comes and picks you up. You do your banking, even though technically you're being transferred to Gandharan Fields. What if you say, okay, he comes, you do your banking and your stuff, and then he drops you right back down, right where you were. So you could be, at the entrance to a dungeon that's, has a contested waypoint, and, for example, I'm just coming up with this off the top of my head, you're out in the middle of nowhere, not by waypoints or by, a waypoint that's contested, and then if you use that, and then for free you get to do your banking and your everything and go right back to that spot. Now that's tempting, because like when I'm farming in Frostgorge and then I gotta go unload, and I don't have any Black Lion merchants in my inventory left, and I have to go back to I went back to Lion's Arch, did my banking, and then I had to waypoint back. What if you could just click an item in your inventory, do all that, click it again, and you are right back into the game? I think that would be cool. That was a very long explanation for that, but
that's perfectly fine. I love long-windedness. So I was born long-winded. So,
with
anything
like
that can offer more convenience,
right,
is always a good thing. Certainly for like 1,000 gems, I think something a bit more should be added to it. Like what you're talking about.
I think it's a little steep. I think they have one that's less for. It's a 2-week pass, which I think if I was going to buy something like that, I would just go for the full permanent one.
Right.
But that was my thought on how they could improve it.
Yeah, well,
and it's an airship.
It's a good one.
So it's plausible.
Yeah, well,
he can just come pick you up.
It's a good one. Personally, I haven't really entered into the crafting aspect of the game yet, so it's not a big part of it. Because as I told you before the podcast, I am very slow.
It's because you're appreciating the game as you go through it. You're not rushing to 80 and then saying, I have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Crafting's a good way to level up, by the way.
Slow. I know. But
excellent way to level up, and it's fun. I find it fun.
I'm just so tempted to leave crafting as something for once I reach 80 to do.
Oh, but then you're not. But then you're wasting it, and you're not getting experience. But if you're not rushing through the game, then that's fine.
It's well, there's like so many like resources that you'd have to buy and find and stuff that I'm kind of like,
yeah.
I just want to wait.
I did it as
leave that
I did
end
it as
game,
I
guess,
went.
for me.
So like I did buy stuff from the trading post if I like really wanted that next level like right now if I was impatient. But if I wasn't, I would just every now and again go check out my crafting, see what see what words the crafting items, just see what I have. I would use whatever whatever I had collected just by playing the game, and I would use that, and then when I was out, I was out. And it took a long time. It took many characters, but I got 400 on all my crafting disciplines just by doing that mostly. So I think nice and slow is the way to do it. And our connection is really breaking up really bad.
Yeah, I just got a message saying that the videos, like for better audio, you should turn off your video. I just got a message for that.
It's
Might
probably it's probably my internet
part.
because it's very snowy here, and sometimes my internet goes crappy when it's snowy.
Okay,
But,
I was kind of worried that I may have kicked a wire wrong.
Oh.
But okay, yeah, you might want to edit that part out.
Or we'll just leave it in.
Yeah, sure. What the hell? Hey guys, we're professional. Nah, kidding. Yeah.
We are coming to the end anyway.
Yeah, I guess.
I think the only other thing that I wanted to... Oh, before I forget, I just wanted to mention that we had someone in the last episode's comments asking if we would do Q&A questions. And absolutely, if you want to ask questions, we'll answer them. I mean,
to the best of our ability.
Yes,
so
I mean, we're pretty active. We're both pretty active in the comments because we don't get hundreds and hundreds, so it's easy to keep up with them.
Yeah.
But so we usually answer questions in the comments already. But if there's something you want us to answer in the cast, just you could just say that, or if it's like some more involved question or something we find that's more compelling that we should talk about, then we absolutely will. So the answer is yes. So
just like maybe like type like hey guys, I have a Q&A question, or if you want us to talk about a different subject, maybe just want to hear us talk about a subject.
Absolutely, yeah. What do you think about this?
Gorgeous.
Or stop talking about this so much.
Char.
Taimi, no.
Never.
Wow.
Never stop talking about Char, Taimi. Never. Sorry. Won't happen.
Constructive criticism. Because in the end, we're just doing this for fun. So, but I know I've always been very. I like to have as high of a level of production as I can, as I'm capable of. So any constructive criticism to make it better would definitely be appreciated.
Oh yeah, and any Q&A or subjects you guys want to have talked about.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's make it interactive and fun, and not just you sitting here listening to us rambling. We can actually answer questions and stuff. Because
if you want us to debate and theorize more about what wooden potatoes looks like, by all means. I think
you got it down though. You've nailed it.
Yeah. He will deny it, of course, but we all know it's true. We all know it's true. And until he sometimes gets the balls to actually show his face, I will be right.
That's what Photoshop's for.
Not that he'll ever watch this anyway, so.
I think we've covered just about everything. I guess the only other tiny thing is I like the in the camps, the camp right by Vigil Keep, the fugitive. Oh my God, the refugee camp right by Vigil Keep has a lot more voice acting, which again is so impressive that there's all this voice acting. we get to follow the adventures of Helotron, as he now is.
Galvatron, no.
And there's a lot of dialogue with Evan Nashblade. I kind of didn't feel like I really knew that character before. Like he just kind of showed up for the for the voting, and then.
Did you read his short story?
I'm not sure. If so, I don't really remember it. So that is a very good point. For it being, outside of game. Now they're putting more stuff in game because he has quite a bit of dialogue with Helotron, who is apparently wants to hire him to build something for protection, because Helotron is still desperately trying to redeem himself and prove that he is not working for Scarlet. And then Evan really hates Keel.
Keel, yep.
Oh man, I had no idea. I mean, I knew he didn't like her, but like he wants her dead. Like maybe not so much that he would do something about it, but like he's like, give me good news, like tell me she's dead. Wow, it's like holy crap, right out there.
Also, I mean, for a char, that's pretty kind of normal kind of conversation for them when they're kind of pissed off at someone. It's because especially like when you go through their like worlds and stories, this is kind of how char talk to each other when they're seriously ticked off. Because it's kind of like if you like metaphorically step on their tails with each other, they'll be like, I want them skewered in half. That's just kind of normal, but it is true, yeah. He is definitely ticked off at her. And she also doesn't like him because we learned there that she personally made sure that he would be appointed, I think, to this...
the quartermaster.
They didn't like. Yeah, and because Helotron was like, she made sure it was you or something like that. And he's like, I bet she did. Because it was... So she knows that she's ticking him off.
Oh, absolutely.
And, yeah,
there was so much dialogue there. I expect that to go somewhere now. I expect that to come up in the future. There's be some kind of... Yeah, I hope so too.
So, I love Evan, and I know definitely at least one of the developers is keen on Evan too. So I'd love to see Evan take more of a stand and get more spotlight.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love these more major yet minor characters, maybe these C characters, to be developed more. I'd love that.
And it's great that we're getting that too. So, any quick ideas what the final patch may have for us?
Ooh. Well, we have to find out what Scarlet is drilling for. There was one bit of dialogue, I forget exactly who it was from or who said it, but someone did say, well, it looks like she's going for the ley line. The magic ley line, because that's exactly where she's drilling, is right on top of where that thing was. That doesn't mean that she's going for the ley line itself. That could just be an indicator that something is in that spot because the ley line is strong there. That could, I think it would be slightly anticlimactic if she was simply going for a magic ley line, unless we know what the purpose is, like, oh, it is for powering this death machine, or it is for raising an elder dragon, or whatever. Not simply she wants to harvest the magic. So I've really never had I think this is going to happen. Like, I think an elder dragon is going to rise. I don't think that. I really don't know. So we'll have to see. What about you?
I'm keen and hoping on the idea of that she might be looking for some kind of special Sylvari artifact.
Yes, that was mentioned, and I think that's very interesting.
Because it sounds like everything else, the ley lines and the dragons, are just things that are helping her find something like that. And with her having gone into that machine and interacted with the pale tree, it stands to reason that she may have seen something and then learned of something connected to the Sylvari that has given her these revelations and or just made her obsessed with getting this thing that she will lay waste to anything.
She's growing she's growing an evil pale tree.
That would be
There's my
that would be
prediction.
cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
I just think if it was a certain thing, like, oh, this legendary Sylvari sword or something, let's just say, because an artifact, a Sylvari artifact was mentioned in the Delacroix investigations. And if it was, let's just say it was that, it would kind of come out of nowhere. Because we've never heard, that I know of, we've never heard of any other Sylvari artifact. We've never... You know, it would just be like, oh, what's this random thing that she found? How come we have never heard of it? You know, I don't know.
I will. The last thing I'll just quickly say about it is that I will literally squeak for joy if they show the Tengu finally
who are sitting
opening
by,
the gates.
who are sitting by and watching Lion's Arch burn, by the way.
But I would love to see it if they finally just open up their things and say, "Squawk, we'll help you," and just have some really epic thing, the gates opening, and then like an army of samurai
That
Tengu.
would be epic. Okay, that would be really
That's what
epic.
I
I just got a vision of the cinematic of like the gates opening, and then like dust is covering them because they haven't been opened in so long, and they open and just this army of Tengu just scream and start running, and oh
it's like
man,
jumping through the air.
oh my god,
That would be amazing.
can they fly?
I would.
If they could fly, what if they went up and?
I don't think so, but
No,
they can
I don't
probably
think so
leap
either.
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
They could probably like jump pretty high, and if they're
Okay,
just like
that would be
decked
really
out in like
epic.
samurai style armor and just like blasting lasers and crap and magic, it's like everyone's like, it's a Tengu finally.
People would freak out.
Best thing, Arena, make this happen, damn it! You better not leave them there. Just
Whatever
being
happens, it's gonna be awesome.
Be like after like the epic stuff and stuff or whatever happens, and then like have like season 2. Oh, and now the Tengu are going to be playable, and the gates are open. And no, have it. Give us that Lord of the Rings, Mordor gates opening thing of like just woohoo, and they charge forward on like I don't know what kind of mounts. I don't know, bigger bird mounts. Tyrannosaurs. That would be great.
I was gonna say dinosaur mounts.
Because T-Rexes had feathers, which that's a great thing. A quick thing is that the raptors in Guild Wars 2 are feathered. They're actually properly feathered.
Are
the way
they?
dromaeosaurs are feathered. Is that if you look at the raptors that are in the places, Guild Wars 2, to my knowledge, is the only one that does dinosaurs correctly because they've got proper feathers the way the raptors
Look at
did.
that.
So
Look at that.
if they put tyrannosaurs in it. Remember they had feathers, so have the Tengu in samurai armor riding feathered tyrannosaurs. That would make my life. I would be so happy. That would be the best scene. Just like a cavalry of tyrannosaurs with Tengu on them.
Oh my gosh.
That would make
Geekgasm explosion.
That would make Scarlet's armies just run. They'd be like, what the hell? It's like Tyrannosaur cavalry with these freaking birdmen.
Oh man.
You heard it here first, folks. Yes.
Alrighty. So I think that's gonna wrap up our episode 3 of GuildGab. Thank you for everyone who watched to the end. I think this one ran a little long, but that's okay. We're enthusiastic. Because we're crazy.
It's that too. Well, definitely here. But yeah, thank you all for watching.
Indeed.
Very much so.
Indeed. And we will see you next week. Hopefully we will have an epic new trailer full of Tengu, Elder Dragon, Sylvari artifacts, and Quaggan.
And Tyrannosaurs.
Calling it.
I can wish and dream. Tyrannosaur mounts. Tyrannosaur mounts.
Bye
Wouldn't
bye,
it be great
guys.
if...
Yes,
See you
it
guys.
would. Bye.